Caulking a stone tile installation is a bit different from caulking bathroom tiles or standard exterior caulking. It is important to cut the caulking tips in a particular way. Here we show you how to make that cut. This cut is at about a 15-degree angle. Here we show you how to mark the leading and trailing edge with the green paint marker. This helps a lot when you are not quite sure if you are holding the gun at exactly the right angle. Be careful you don't cut a hole into the sidewall. We make these two cuts in order to fit the tube directly into the tapered stone tile joints. A few square feet of drywall board is perfect for practice. This is what you would like your caulking bead to look like, a perfect flat ribbon. If we hold the gun at the wrong vertical angle, either the caulking squeezes out on both sides, or you get a bead that has too much convex. If we hold our gun at the wrong horizontal angle, we get a ribbon that is fat on one side or the other. Again, this is what the perfect caulking bead looks like. You will need to adjust a little when you do the real stone tile caulking joints. Always stretch your arms out as much as comfortably possible, and then draw the gun down without shifting your stance. You should only move the position of your arms, and when you get down to the end, release the caulking gun trigger and reposition. We have found it best to caulk the vertical joints first, then the horizontal. Again, reach out, squeeze the trigger and pull towards yourself. Slow as you go through the intersections. Then just before your elbows touch your body, you need to press the release on the caulking gun. Use a minimum of caulking in tile joints. You need 2 palette knives, one small one which is basically used for tile caulking beads, and one larger one used for inside and outside corners and for moldings. Try to keep your tooling to a minimum on your tiles. If you end up with a gob, you can fix it as we show you here. Here we show you how to caulk a molding joint. When caulking a molding joint, you will need a larger tip. There is no need to trim the sides of the caulking tip as you do with the tile joint caulking. Here you will pump these joints generously full of caulking. It is almost as if you were trying to place a welding bead in the joint. Then, using the large palette knife, scoop the caulking out as seen here. If you drag the palette knife across the joint, you will end up pushing the caulking out of the sides and create a mess. This excess caulking is then scraped into the empty caulking tube. Here is what we do to deal with caulking that has been tooled out with your palette knife. Take an empty caulking tube and with your knife, make a cut into it and watch. Excess caulking from the molding joint ends up in the empty caulking tube. Periodic cleaning of your palette knife or caulking tip is done best with small pieces of plastic, about 2 inches square. Cut up a bunch of them and put them in your pouch. These small pieces can be disposed of in the back of the used caulking tubes. If you have a smear, clean it immediately or you will end up with a stain, though it can be removed with lacquer thinner later. Don't worry about small imperfections in your caulking. The sand will make these lines smooth. See here! We scoop up the sand onto our 2.5-inch sash brush and then brush it onto the caulking. This is how you scoop the sand onto the brush. These are the correct ways to brush the sand onto the joints. Simply close in the brush if you go vertically or if you go horizontally. If you want, you can put down a drop sheet to catch and reuse up to 90% of the sand. There should always be sand between your brush and between the caulking. After your caulking is covered generously with sand, you can get fairly aggressive, and this action will actually smooth out the caulking. This slapping motion is okay, just make sure that you don't drag the caulking out of the joint with your brush. Caulking is a bit of an art form, so take your time when learning and avoid caulking on really hot days if possible. A good caulking job is key to making your job look great.